Welcome back to Making the Madness on YouTube. Today we've got a fun uh, game to break down. It is Kansas hosting Texas. This can be two teams battling for first place in the Big 12. It should be one of the more fun matchups, I think, of the weekend. It is the only top 10 matchup of this weekend, according to the AP poll. Believe that what you will about the AP poll. Both these teams are ranked inside the top 10, so it should be a fun game. Uh, Sean, what are your initial thoughts on this game?
I mean, the game is at home. That's something to consider for Kansas. And there is an advantage there for the Jayhawks because they do have fans at their home arena since the Creighton game. I think about 15% capacity, so like 3,000 or something like that. But so that's just a small thing to take into account. But you look at the game as a whole, Texas is one of the best defensive teams in the country because of the athletes they have, like Kai Jones and Greg Brown, Jericho Sims. Those are all plus defenders and elite defenders in the Big 12. And then they have scoring, too, with Andrew Jones, who struggled a bit this season, Courtney Ramey and Matt Coleman, the two best scorers on the team. Greg Brown and Andrew Jones have to get it going from three, though. But when you look at Kansas, they've shown the ability to win in both ways you can win. On the defensive end, like against Texas Tech, they've won 59-58, so they've shown they can play in the 50s, and they've shown ability that they could play in the 80s. They've won games in the 80s this season. So for Kansas, when you have the ability to win both ways, that'll go a long way. I think we need to see a lot of threes from Christian Brown and Ochai Agbaji in this one because they're their two best shooters. And David McCormick has to get it going. He has to use his size and bully Jericho Sims, a smaller defender, inside and try to get some easy baskets.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think offensively for Kansas, they're going to probably look to continue to shoot the ball from deep. With Jalen Wilson, with Christian Brown, with Ochai Agbaji. I look for. I liked what I saw McCormick in the West Virginia game where he decided, hey, I'm not going to try to shoot every turnaround fadeaway jumper. I'm going to try to go inside and score. I'm going to try to get rebounds and kick it back out for threes. I think those are the ways you win by playing the. You play not for yourself but for the team, and that's how you are able to kind of help your team win. And yes, maybe you take a little bit of a step back in offensive production, but efficiency certainly would go up for David McCormick. So that's one thing I look for him to continue to do. And the other thing too is Kansas in that West Virginia game. I'm looking up here real quick. They shot the ball. Let's see, they shot it 16 of 37 from three, 43.2% three-point shooting. That's solid, but
nobody's beating them if they do that.
Yeah. You shoot, even if you shoot 35% of the time, 35% from three, they still win that game pretty handily. Maybe a couple, things go West Virginia's game and West Virginia maybe has a chance, but like if Kansas decides we're going to shoot only inside close to the rim twos or threes, that's I think a way offensively where they're able to maximize efficiency in a way that I don't think if Kansas is able to do that, Texas is able to keep up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Texas is a good team. I just think Kansas could realistically be the second best team in college basketball. I think we both have it ranked Baylor as the second best team right now, but I have Kansas third. So I have them super close. I just think Kansas is a really good basketball team. They can shoot the ball, they can defend, they can do it all. I think they'll be able to win this game over Texas by 8 or 9 at home.
Yeah, I think the line is in the 4-5 spread. Haslametrics has it at 6. KenPom has it at 4. So we'll say for this it's 5. I think Kansas wins this game by like 7. I think Texas will keep it close. I do trust Matt Coleman, Courtney Ramey, and Andrew Jones to really play well and be able to score offensively and keep up in this game. And I do think one X factor will be like what they can get out of Greg Brown, because if you get the Greg Brown, I think uh, their most recent game against
Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State.
State, where he was arguably the best player on the court, 24 points, 14 rebounds. That brings Texas's ceiling to another level. Now, if you get average 10 points, 5 rebounds type performance from Greg Brown, then I don't think Texas has a chance. So I think Greg Brown's the X factor, at least for Texas.
Yeah, definitely agree. If you're trying to think of an X factor for Kansas, the one that would come to my mind is probably David McCormick, just because they don't have a ton of depth at that 5 spot. But one lineup they played that works, and I like it, is having Wilson at the 5 and putting Ty and Grant Foster at the 4, and then you go with Brown, Garrett, and Abaji. But I think that McCormick's gonna have to play a good game. This one, he's shooting 35% from the field. For a big man that can't shoot threes, that is terrible. He's going to need to improve upon that if Kansas is going to win this game, because I don't think if David McCormick plays the way he played against Texas Tech, they lose this game.
Yeah, they need a better David McCormick. I still think they can beat Texas without a great performance from David McCormick. If I do think this is a kind of a matchup where you could potentially see Jalen Wilson play at the 5, just because Texas, their forwards are more like athletic forwards that aren't really like beat you down inside type forwards that you might see in other games. But I do think they'll need David McCormick to play well. Just I think overall for the future of the program, but uh, certainly I do like Kansas, and I'll take them to cover the spread as
Yeah,
well.
same here.